everybody, it's Frankie-Lou and
Becca Martin.
and today we're at the Grow To Gather Homestead where we have been creating lasagna beds. Woo, Becca is quite the pro and really good at getting us to work hard, but that's one thing I do want to say. I have created a lot of garden beds in my day and this was fun and I cannot wait to see how it goes. So we're going to go through some of the steps here, explaining how to create a lasagna bed and how we're using stuff that you might think is useless and how you can create a rich, biodiverse soil for growing your wonderful plants without having to spend a fortune. And we all know that's what we're about here. And so let's go through the steps and we'll be right back.
Here is where Frankie has put a load of cardboard down, and on top of it she's got the pallets. So she's effectively choked out a lot of the grass that's underneath here. We're going to be adding another layer of cardboard to this to further choke it out, make it a little bit thicker. The reason we use cardboard and not plastic is because this will biodegrade and become part of the soil profile. This will allow moisture through, but at the same time, not sunlight. So the grass underneath is going to die. So we're basically creating a system in which we don't have to worry about the weeds in here. We don't have to dig it up and take it somewhere else. So when we talk about lasagna gardens, the reason we call that is because it's layers, just like in a lasagna. And in a lasagna, you know how you want to have a bite of meat and a bite of spinach and a bite of cheese all in that same bite? We want the same thing happening here. We want a bite of compost and a bite of sawdust and a bite of chips, a bite of the grass and a bite of the straw and a bite of the soil, all in the same bite. So when we're putting this down, we want to make sure that those layers are fairly even. We can also, depending on how many layers we put in here, this is a no-dig system, right? So we can make these as tall as we want, which means over the successive years, when it comes to the fall and Frankie has additional compost she wants, she can just dump that compost right on top.
Every time I do the chicken coop, go straight from here to there.
Absolutely. And so in this way, she can just continue to build this system. So 10 years from now, it's conceivable to believe she'll have a system that's about this deep. Where when we say that we can put anything in here, we can put anything healthy in here. We want to make sure that we're not introducing a pest. And then when we talk about like bigger items, so Frankie grows a lot of radish for radish pods. This is one that we pulled out of the compost yesterday. So this right here doesn't have any seed pods on it, but if it did, that wouldn't be a problem for us because we're excited for this stuff to show up. So none of the seeds on this are mature enough to sprout. So this guy is fine to put in here. I really like the thickness of this mass. Really good ecosystems. So when we go into a natural forest, we'll see down trees and then other things are sprouting off of them, and as it decays, it feeds the forest floor, right? And in a really healthy system, there's a lot of moisture in there. So my point being is that there's a lot of nutrition in here, and even if some of these guys were to sprout, no big deal.
I wanted to.
We wanted to. Right. Okay, so in our piles of stuff, Frankie went ahead and she mowed the grass yesterday. So we have grass clippings, we have straw up by the driveway, we have some really beautiful thick sawdust. Yeah. We have a bunch of buckets also up by the driveway that are filled with soil that's like nice and clean.
This is from canning and dehydrating. I've just been as I'm taking the rhubarb, I just put it there, and because I knew you guys were coming, and I'm like, okay, let's just start building a refuse pile.
And then
1 week of canning.
we also have, and we'll kind of show you where this came from down below. But we also have. Am I really gonna do? I'm gonna do this. No. Okay. This is where the duck and chicken effluent, shall we say, comes out of the duck and chicken space. So this is loaded with nitrogen. This is like almost, if you were to come and smell this, I don't recommend that you smell this, but I actually had to, this was liquid yesterday. It's dried out a good deal now.
I have to, do a whole thing.
So this is basically our manure. We only have the one bin of it, which there's a ton more, but like I just took this much. This is all we really need. Just this really thin layer in here is gonna kickstart everything. This is really, really healthy stuff. Okay, so the only thing missing from what we have gathered here to put in this is the compost. So we're now going to go walk over and take a look at the compost and have a conversation about that.
This garden bed that we're creating is going to have a whole winter to break down, which is what, so this compost, which is like the half done stuff, is what we're going to use, okay, because it's going to have that time to break down. See, so this was going to be used in the spring anyways. It'll be ready in the spring for use, but it's already 6 months old here, because this is mostly stuff from the chicken coop, right? It's a wonderful mix.
Cook real quick.
Yeah, it's hay from the chickens, and it's their poop.
Guano.
And so it's a perfect mix of browns and greens. Plus, it's all my kitchen scraps. I'm just gonna give, excuse me.
This is how you know you have a really great compost.
I just want to give.
You can get in there on your hands and knees, and
I just want to give Tigger a chance to run.
It smells good. Good compost smells good.
This is how you know that there's somebody that loves soil. When they've got their hands right in.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I know. People are like, you don't mind getting dirty, do you? I'm like, dirt is good for you, man. Soil is good for you.
There's a reason why she's so chipper.
Yeah.
When we're doing a system like this and we're using cardboard, there's a couple of fairly important points. We don't want to get cardboard that has that shiny, waxed or plasticized anything like that's. We're just putting contaminants in our soil. At this point, the majority of the industry has switched to inks that'll break down and won't harm the environment. This is because they want that their product can be recycled.
It's cheaper too.
You know, it's cheaper, and because people care about it. And actually, most of these inks are vegetable based at this point. Or soy. I think it's just like important to know, like, if it is glossy, you don't want it. So these little stickers, we want to peel these guys off, and then we want to open the box up as much as possible. Our next step is you ladies are gonna go through this stuff, and you're gonna peel off the tape and the stickers, and you're gonna open it up. And often opening it up, you can hold it and just kick it, you know, or pull it apart. If you really have trouble, put it to the side and we'll get to it.
And you guys might want to have some water while you're doing this.
Yep, so we've got you set up in the shade. I'll repeat this.
This is an appealing job.
You like this? Okay, so we've now had the discussion as to how big we want our beds. And we've brought in the compost. The ladies have peeled our cardboard so that it is appropriate and ready. We're gonna be making 4x4 beds here. And we're doing that because Frankie-Lou wants her beds to be that size for some really excellent reasons. This cardboard box, this piece right here, is roughly 4x4. It's a little tight on the end, but it's roughly that length here. So this is gonna be roughly our template. We are gonna have excess cardboard on the edges because we want there to be a little bit of a border between where the actual bed is and where the weed seeds are. And which they're not really weeds, it's grass, this is good stuff. But
and I'm actually gonna lay down a barrier of, I'm gonna upcycle some old feed bags, and I'm gonna put sawdust on top of that. Yes. So that
that's gonna keep everything on the ground. We're gonna continue to be choking out those weeds on the edges.
Maintain the moisture in the bed.
Absolutely. Yeah. Okay, so this is our first one. There's already a couple of layers of cardboard underneath here. We're gonna put another layer of cardboard on here, okay? And we're doing this. I don't want to intimidate anybody with my strength. Did you like that page? We're gonna put one more layer of cardboard on here, and we're gonna start loading our layers.
Do we want to wet it?
On top of this.
Do we need to wet it or not?
We're gonna wet the whole thing when we're done.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. The only reason to really wet it at this stage in the game is just to kind of make it a little bit heavier so it doesn't try to fly away while we're working with it.
But it's a nice state.
This also works?
Yeah.
Got you. Okay, so let's grab some shovels. Everybody gets to participate. And we're all gonna go ahead and we're gonna put a nice thick layer. We're gonna use roughly half of what's here and we're gonna dump it directly on top of the cardboard. Yep. Distributed. You just wanna move it around. That's the lasagna part. Not mixed in, just kind of, you want a nice layer of grass. You don't want to mix it in. You know how when we put ricotta cheese on top of our tomato?
Yep.
We don't mix it in because we want that white and red layer. We don't want it pink. That's a good rule to follow here. We don't want it pink.
Well, that's a pretty looking layer, ladies.
It is beautiful. Would you like to slide to the side so he can now?
Oh, yep.
Okay, just actually we'll take it right out of the finger, eh?
Oh, okay. There we go.
They had a beautiful
I'm noticing this is bigger than 4x6.
That was kind of my point. Like we're not.
Giving you a hard time because it's fun.
Okay, so our next layer, ricotta cheese. Our next layer is the sawdust.
Oh, it's something fluffy.
Isn't it beautiful?
And it's
direct
same
from a
thing
mill.
though, it can't be diseased trees though, correct?
no. This is all healthy. Yeah, wood. I saw the trees. Yeah, like
Okay. I don't want to lose all of our efforts to the wind or the rain. And this is the part where we want this nice, airy, fluffy bed that roots can move through easily, that can be easily colonized by mycorrhizal fungi. This is what we want to have happen in this bed. So this middle fluffy layer, this is the money layer. This is where all the stuff happens. And then when it rains and it snows, all of the nutrients that are sort of in the bottom of this in the compost and will be in the top, final layer on the top in the compost, that will just kind of filter all the way through. So our next layer is going to be, you know what?
okay. And this is straw, not hay.
This is straight out, so there's no seeds in it.
Yes.
That's a key.
Yes.
And it's also really important to source stuff that hasn't been sprayed.
This actually, I bought this to raise mushrooms in. It's organic.
Yeah. So our next layer needs to be something thick and delicious and heavy. So our cheese, so that bucket behind
The
us.
sludge, right.
Yeah, so Frankie, I'm going to give you the honors
Oh, I'd love it.
of scooping that on.
Okay.
The bale is about this much.
They're going to
Like
be
one
very...
very banded.
You guys see this?
What end of the city are you in?
I'm out by
Look at it.
by the Red Dead Arena where the high school is.
Yeah.
So those are going to be happy, happy, happy worms.
Like
hacking away at.
the city, crusty,
Okay, so what this
loaded
is,
with nutrients, but
I
crusty.
don't ever throw stuff away. This is old, as you can see, dead planter boxes. I just reuse them.
That's what I was doing with my compost.
Yeah.
A lot of organic matter in here though, in the roots.
And I got more of these if we need them. What do you think would be good for what we got?
I think this will be good for what we're doing. We're just looking to kind of fluff up the manure layer.
Thick, and then we'll go out hunt deer or elk.
Okay. Do we want this right to the edge as much as possible, Becca, or are we kind of... Do we want it right to the edge as much as possible, or are we keeping it...
It'll filter its way to the edge. Like this whole thing, as it settles, will just change shape a little bit. All right, one more layer of compost, guys.
Yay!
For under, I find.
For under the bed, and the little ones are great to have.
Oh,
And then we still have...
just talking about these, just slightly smaller. Okay, and now we're ready for Gord to dump
The final...
the final layer of the lasagna bed. Honestly, doesn't this look delicious?
Parmesan cheese.
Listen to that word, and I don't know if I say that.
So yeah. I'm a dirt nerd though, so I'm
Why do you think Becca and I get along?
Yeah. Okay.
Why don't we just dump the excess onto this other?
The other one?
Yeah, just because it's low enough.
Wherever
we see, we see grass coming up, let's get it choked. Frankie will, pardon?
Want me to go get the hose?
Yep, and we'll get the hose. So let's take the extra pieces we have, let's just lay them wherever we see grass poking through.
And then I'm going to come through here probably tomorrow and open up some feed bags. Lay them down.
We're putting this down.
Yeah,
just,
no, that's great. That's great.
we don't
I
want it
just-
blown away.
Just saying so that, and then I'm going to use the rest of the sawdust to make nice layers around it. So I hope that was interesting. As you can see, Becca really does know her stuff. She does also offer tons of different classes, so please do keep an eye out. In the description I will have a link to Becca's
Not-for-profit entity,
Yes.
which we're playfully calling Grandma Cookie Community Permaculture.
Yeah.
Named after my grandma, Cookie, yes.
and it's amazing. As every time I spend time with Becca, I feel like my brain's exploding with all the new stuff that she teaches me. And these are our gorgeous beds that we've created. And if you do subscribe, I will be showing the seasonal progression of how things do in here compared to my more traditional beds in the garden. So we're having a little experiment here as well. So do subscribe if you're interested in that, and do send us questions. We'd love to hear both your questions about this and other things that you'd maybe like us to see us do in collaboration, because I'm very fortunate to have this wonderful asset. And I would like you guys to benefit from her knowledge too. And as always, I hope you'll take this chance to grow together today. Have a good one.
Thank you, bye.